What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, coming at you today with an angry rant because I somehow managed to get ripped off just one more time by Bethesda before this year is over. Quite frankly, I am so freaking pissed at the fact that Bethesda, who was once considered the greatest gaming studio on the planet, has just made such an effort to try and be scam artists in 2018. First, they came out with downloadable content involving their big game Prey that was incredibly lackluster, but then was the big piece de la resistance, Fallout 76, a project that is so obviously unfinished that it's not fun, it's not playable, and quite frankly, it is so unpatched that the fact that they charged us $60 for this still completely melts my brain. But you know what? This train wreck just didn't stop crashing. They managed to leak consumer information, they ripped people off on the collector's editions. It just seemed like everything about this went wrong in every way possible. But then, it just seemed like they just couldn't get enough. They wanted to release merchandise. Now, this is pretty common. Merch, any type of it, is very, very common. That's actually how you can make more cash on any of your stuff. But that's why they have a term called licensing agreements. Basically, it works like this. If you're trying to do something like a PopCap figurine like you see in my background sometimes, or an action figure, or something like a big giant book that shows all the cool making of materials and unofficial art and stuff like that, this stuff needs to be directly approved by the original studio. Like in this case, Square Enix literally approved every single page in this multi-hundred page manual, and that's why it's so spectacular. Well, Bethesda's been trying to branch out and create all sorts of new little toys, gifts, and all sorts of little trinkets to go with the Fallout world. I mean, that's still one of their biggest franchises of all time. So back in September, they started doing pre-orders for a special Fallout themed drink that was also going to be officially licensed. Now, they've actually done this in the past to quite a good deal of success. They entrusted the company Jones Cola to make some bottled drinks based on quantum soda. And you know what? It was actually spectacular. It shipped on time, it wasn't too terribly overpriced, and it was just something that was cool for collectors. Well, this time, they seem to be trying to up the ante and go even further with the collector's edition theme of it. Now, I'm going to have to reach off camera of this because it's actually quite large. They opened pre-orders in this September for a special alcoholic beverage called Nuka Cola Dark. Now, this is something that's supposed to be, of course, a fancy adult drink. How much do you think this was? I mean, obviously, it's quite a large bottle, but here's the issue. This was $100. Now, for that price tag, you're probably assuming that there'd be a certain air of quality. Either the drink tastes good or there's something cool about the bottle. Well, first things first, there's not much of it. This is actually completely hollow. It is fake. This is a plastic shell around the actual bottle. This is a $100 piece of plastic. $100 to get this. Now, here's my issue. When they showed the original promotional pieces for this, it was quite obviously glass. Now, I'm not a huge collector. In general, I like having cool stuff. I like to put stuff in my collection, but this was a hefty price. $100 is not a small amount of money to me. I wanted to make sure that if I was getting a product, it was going to be awesome. But here's the other thing. Not only is it tiny, there's like nothing in here. It is literally, so I've literally opened this up and taken a sip just to see the taste of it. It is like a fake bottle. You can see the real bottle inside this shell. People have already actually pried this off and looked at the interior. It is super tiny. Now, part of the reason that aggravates me is because I paid my $100 back in September. They required upfront payment in full, which was a little bit peculiar because they just kept delaying it. The actual CEO of the company sent us several emails claiming that they had to delay the release because they wanted to make sure that it was the perfect product, that it would make every fan extremely happy. They even used the words, "We wanted it to be up to Fallout standards." Well, let me tell you, buddy, that ain't this. $100. You know what really kind of aggravates me the most? This doesn't even work the way you would imagine. I mean, okay, let's just pop it open right now. Poof, there we go. Look at that. Magic. Now I want to just pour myself a glass of it. Okay, let's just start pouring it. Oh, look, it's running all over the freaking thing because this bottle is so thick. Why am I having to hold the glass? How do you screw up a cup? How do you screw up your pouring option? How do you mess up a bottle that bad and make it this freaking expensive? I am genuinely blown away by the fact that they would allow this to be released. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and just decide to reach out to the president of Bethesda and see if they give us a response. Actually, you know what? He's right here on Skype right now. Take it away. The CEO, I mean, you got to answer this, man. Hey folks, I'm Doug Money, the king of evil gaming business, and right now I'm actually the head of Bethesda. I know, I don't know how I got this job either, but you know what? Now that I got it, I'm going to be maximizing profits. Now, sometimes I feel like people get a little bit confused by why any studio would make a choice. Like, if you're somebody who's really into Resident Evil, you've probably read the Resident Evil novels. They're super good, right? And then, after that, they did the Resident Evil comics. Also super good. These both made a ton of cash. So you figure they'd probably stop, right? I mean, both these are out, both of these are getting great reviews, both these are making all the money back, but you just don't do that. In the gaming business, you also need to release a super garbage tie-in manga. And you know what? The reason they still make this stuff, even though they know that it's absolute trash, is because you'll buy it. In the gaming business, people like me, Doug Money, we're all about trying to get that bottom dollar, no matter how we gotta do it. I mean, I'll honestly rip it out of your hands. If it doesn't take the absolute worst thing ever to get it, I'm going to get it no matter the cost. Now, I think what's really kind of evil in this situation is that so many of you are trying to leave me bad reviews. But here's the thing, I've already rigged the Nuka Cola website to automatically create fake good reviews. Do you think all these 5-star reviews that don't make sense are actually real? Of course not! Because I'm Doug Money. I'll lie, cheat, and steal to make sure I get every penny of your cash. And if you don't like it, well, maybe don't pre-order all my games and all my comics and all my terrible manga, because I'm gonna keep doing what it takes to get my Doug Money. Eat it. Yeah, I hate you. Whatever. Peace. Oh my god, well, at least now we know that Doug Money was behind it. That makes a little bit of sense, but it doesn't reduce my amount of aggravation. Now, I'm gonna let you in on a little personal secret of mine. I absolutely hate doing returns. Trying to get a refund on products is something that, I don't know, it really annoys me, and I try and avoid it at all costs. Even if something sucks, typically I don't return it just because I feel like, alright, I've got it, whatever. In this one example, I am seriously going to try and get my money back, because this was not advertised properly. This isn't the real thing. And you know what? Bethesda, let me make this incredibly crystal clear. If you try and give me a really pathetic little refund item, like, oh goody, you didn't get your collector's edition bag the way you thought you would in the Fallout 76 collector's edition, well, then here's a couple atoms in the microtransactions of Fallout 76. I don't want that crap. I want the product I paid for. That's it. I'm not asking for magic. I'm not asking you to just create an all-new item just for me. I'm just saying that if you say, pay me $100 for this item, I'm expecting that item to eventually show up. How the heck did one of the greatest studios of all time turn into the weird scam artists? What happened? Did you guys get taken over? Did somebody just freaking die and will the company to Lord Voldemort? I mean, I seriously cannot stretch my brain to manage to understand all of this. I'm still trying to remain hopeful, though, that they will manage to make a comeback. I mean, I think that something that's going on right now behind the scenes is, very realistically, Bethesda is probably in panic mode. They realize that everything they're doing is a dumpster fire. They cannot seem to get anything right, and people, if anything, are starting to flee from it. I've seen some early numbers that have been leaked about Fallout 76 on PlayStation 4. This is assumed to be the biggest platform that it released on, because obviously, like 100 million people have the PlayStation 4. The numbers for this are incredibly abysmal. It looks like the speculation is that this sold about 400,000 copies. To put that in perspective, it's probably the lowest launch release ever for a Bethesda game in the last 20 years. Do you know how bad you have to screw up to get that? Really majorly. Bethesda, I understand that you guys are trying to do new things, try new experiments, try out new things in new directions. That's commendable, that's respectable, that's admirable. But get it right. test it internally, and don't just try and get people to buy your crappy products before they're actually approved. You know, that's really what kind of just drives me the most crazy about this freaking thing, is it's so obviously something that Bethesda didn't even look at. And it has their official branding on it. It says Bethesda on the bottle. You can't act like this was made by a tiny little Chinese company that shit it out and, excuse my French, but they just tossed it out without approval. We know you approved it. You printed your name on it. There's a barcode that scans and says, hey man, do you love Bethesda? Oh my gosh. You know what? I'm gonna go put this in a freezer and try and drink some of it. I had a couple sips and it tasted a little bit like butt. But maybe if I put it on ice, close my eyes and imagine that this doesn't cost me $100 to take sips of, it'll be a little bit enjoyable. I hope you all had a very nice Christmas. I spent some time with family, and now I'm back on the grind. I'm going to keep playing bad games and getting ready for some big reviews in 2019. I love you all a bunch, and keep dreaming. Oh man, I'm still so annoyed. Just seriously, do me a favor, give this video a like and share it somewhere, because at this point we need to just be warned of how much of a freaking dumpster fire Bethesda in general has become. Alright, I'm not sure if this video will get demonetized if I take a sip of this. No bueno. Oh, no bueno. Nope. Oh, no, yeah, I don't want to drink it. Nope. Nope. $100. Nope. Nope. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, you know, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.